right. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome. I am so excited for today's episode. All right. So I'm looking over here on my other screen because we are going to go live on Instagram. All right. I think we are live everywhere, Lisa.
Yay.
All
So
over.
glad to be here with
Every
you.
platform. Every
Yay.
platform. We are live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
Amazing.
and LinkedIn.
Amazing.
All right.
Amazing.
Super exciting because we have some really, well, Lisa especially has some awesome, really, really important insight to share with everyone today. And I am so delighted to have her here with me today. So to kind of kick things off, well, first of all, hello, everyone, and welcome. Leslie Vitale here, and I'm really, really delighted to have you with me today. I want to give you a little bit of kind of the lay of the land before we kick off our conversation. So today's topic is one that so many of you have been asking about. And honestly, I would just say, given the landscape with AI, it is more important now than ever. So very timely. And here's really the bottom line. If you've ever been tempted to let ChatGPT or any AI platform for that matter, write your legal clauses, your contracts, website policies, I would say, hold on, stop everything, and tune in. Because while we know AI can be really helpful, I mean, it's kind of amazing all the things that AI can do, right? Like, It's a little scary when you really think about it. It can be helpful for so many ideas, but I would just say maybe not so much to be your legal department.
Exactly.
Right? All right. So we're going to have Lisa help us unpack the risks and guide us on how we can maybe use AI in a safe and smart way. And I have invited the absolute best in the business, Lisa Fraley. And just a quick overview, Lisa Fraley, JD, is an attorney, legal coach, and all-around, I would call her a legal trailblazer for coaches and practitioners. And Lisa blends top-tier legal expertise with her background on health and life coaching, making her really the ideal person to have on today to explain things in a way that feels clear, empowering, and maybe even a little soulful. All right, so grab yourself a pen, take some notes, and let's dive in. All right, so Lisa, welcome. I'm so happy to have you.
Thank you for having me back.
Yeah, it's really a delight to reconnect. Why don't we kick off our conversation with, for people that maybe somehow aren't familiar with your work, tell us a little bit about how you got into this space, specifically working with practitioners and coaches.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. And thanks for having me back, Leslie. It's always so good to be with you and with this whole crew of yours. Okay, so you all, I always knew I wanted to be a lawyer since I was in high school and was in like a mock trial where we won our case and was like, hey, maybe I could actually do this for a profession. So I went to law school and really focused on healthcare law and worked at the top healthcare law firm in the state of Ohio for a number of years and worked in the healthcare department as a healthcare attorney. But along the way, I worked in a big firm and I, had the cushy life and but I worked a million hours and I was eating horribly. And you all know the drill if you've worked anywhere corporate or in a hospital or it's a lot. So, and I also had this crazy sugar thing that I just could not freaking kick, right? It wasn't so much a huge weight problem, but it was a sugar thing where I had to eat sugar like every 2 hours or carbs or something. And I thought, this is ridiculous. I don't really understand why this is happening. I can do all these other things. Why can't I fix this? So I went to health coaching school back in 2011 at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I became a health coach. And along the way, I also became a life coach at Coach U. So I myself am a health and life coach, but I'm also a lawyer. And I realized that when I was starting my own health and life coaching business, that all my legal or health coaching friends were like, but you are a lawyer who understands us. Most lawyers tell us we can't do anything. They aren't warm. They aren't inviting. They aren't fun. Like, we don't like lawyers. And I'm like, I know. I get it. The lawyers have good hearts, but, they can be a little rough on the outside sometimes. So anyway, it led me into creating my own legal coach and attorney practice, where I've worked since 2012 with thousands of licensed medical practitioners like registered dietitians and unlicensed practitioners like health coaches to basically help you understand what you can and can't do so you don't get in trouble for the unlicensed practice of medicine or violating licensure laws or practicing across state lines, and also setting up your business with LLCs and trademarks and contracts and things like that. So I've created over 50 do-it-yourself legal templates along the way. And now lately, I've been talking to people about AI because it's such a hot topic that people are so confused about. And we think that AI is amazing, which it is. And I'm an AI user myself, but there are some huge, huge gaps on the legal front. So Leslie wanted to invite me to come and talk with you about this topic today. So here we are.
I love it. Such a great and interesting background, and especially having those 2 coaching designations and being a lawyer. Very
exactly. Well, we're all kind of multi-talented, I think, in these fields that we all bring all of our talents together. And, but I do know that it helps health coaches and unlicensed practitioners feel comfortable working with me. And it helps licensed practitioners because I have both sides, unlike most lawyers out there.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's dig in. What do practitioners need to know about using AI to ask legal questions or just to help them to create legal documents? Because we know that, it's pretty tempting.
Of course it's tempting. I don't blame people if they're wanting to do that, because especially if you're a ChatGPT user, but also other Claude and other forms of AI, they're so helpful. They're amazing for our business. They're incredible tools to help us save time and energy and money. And it's almost like magic. We think they're like magic. I use them myself. My team uses them ourselves. And if you don't know me, I'm all about the and. Like, I'm a coach and a lawyer. So here are my little ampersands in my office. And here's the thing, you all. AI is not accurate when it comes to legal stuff. I wish it were. It's not. In fact, one study found that it's 60 to 80% inaccurate when it comes to law. Wow. And that's a surprising figure because we have what's called an automation bias. We all have, just as human beings, an automation bias that we think that and this is true prior to AI coming onto the scene. We think that whatever the computer gives us, whatever a Google search gives us or a newsletter that we see, or we think that this information coming at us through our computer is accurate. And unfortunately, it's not. And in fact, there was a study done where practitioners who have really strong credentials and backgrounds were given information and told it was correct from AI, and they actually knew it was incorrect. 11% chose the AI response over their own brain because they thought that AI was correct because it was AI. And that was like about a medical judgment that could harm a patient.
Oh, man. Okay. That's really frightening. So
we're human. We just think that it's correct.
We make these assumptions instead of trusting our own knowledge.
Correct.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So what happens is, what I like to teach is that this is a tool to be a research tool to help, just like we've used Google all these years to ask questions or to get information, but it doesn't replace the advice or the knowledge of a lawyer. Now, y'all might be saying, well, you're just saying that because you're a lawyer. I'm like, okay, I understand why you might think that. I get it. But here, I'm not just saying that because I'm self-interested as a lawyer. Here's the thing. It's just not true. So you can put yourself in a situation where you're relying on information that is inaccurate. And that can be very scary for you and for your client or patient too.
Wow. Yeah. So, I mean, it is kind of, I get why some people might maybe think that, right? Like, well, she's a lawyer. Of course she's going to say, don't trust AI. But clearly it goes beyond that.
Well, and we can trust it for a lot of things. Like, what should I do with my extra 38,000 Marriott points? That's great. But what about, like, would you use AI to, like, interpret a lab test result and take the lab test result and give it to a patient or a client without looking at it yourself? So why would you do that with legal information you think is correct from the internet, and then you just put it in your contract and give it to, like, why would you do that, right? I always joke about the fact that I know it's so tempting to be your own lawyer, y'all, but we lawyers had to go to law school and spend 5 hours for an entire semester, 5 hours a week for an entire semester learning only contract law,
Wow.
only how to write contracts.
Okay.
So I
5
know
hours a week, not
a week.
5
Yeah,
hours.
a week for a whole semester. And so I was like,
Okay.
I don't know why people think they could just write their own contracts. I don't know. I had to go
Okay.
to like 50 hours of contract training or
Jeez.
more, however many weeks in a law firm's law semester, probably more than that, right? It's 80 hours a week. So
Right.
80 hours in general. So
Okay.
it's not as simple as it looks. So anyway, I just want to caution you, like, please use that as a research tool, ask some questions, get some information, please do that. But don't rely on that as a be all end all, just like you wouldn't tell AI to interpret a lab test result and you not look at it and you just run off and give it to you would never do that. I sure hope you would never do that. You would look at it yourself and use your own brain. So it's the same concept.
So not to scare people, because that's not what this is about. This conversation is going to be very empowering. That being said, are you able to share any maybe little tidbit stories where things have gone off the rails with using AI as the legal department?
Totally. I just was looking at an example the other day.
Okay.
There was a nurse who wrote into ChatGPT, hey, if I want to practice with people across state lines as a nurse, calling myself a nurse, being a nurse, don't I just have to just include a disclaimer and say that I'm really not practicing nursing? Like I'm really just giving information. Is that sufficient? And ChatGPT said, yes, that's fine. And I thought, no, that's not fine. That's not correct. So ChatGPT was like literally flat out wrong. And it was like, yes, of course, if you use a disclaimer and say this is not nursing advice. And I thought, oh no, right? Because it's tempting to think that, oh, we just have to give a disclaimer.
Just a disclaimer and you're good to go.
Yeah, no, because you can't use the title of nurse across state lines if you're not licensed in a state with that title. Why? That sounds crazy. Like, why? At least I see people doing it online all the time. Well, they're not doing it.
Right. All righty. I don't know if that's me or Lisa. Let's see.
I don't know here we are. We're back.
All right, we're back. Yay. I don't know if that was me or you.
We're back. So I was going to say, I love nurses. I'm just choosing nurses because this was the example.
Yeah.
So what happened is the nurse said, I just want to use this disclaimer. And unfortunately, you can't use the title of nurse in a state where you're not licensed in that state, because now you're holding yourself out, is the legal term we use, as a nurse in that state. So what I want you to do is to make sure that you are talking with a lawyer who understands what you do before you go forward. And unfortunately, ChatGPT just doesn't have the same ethical obligations to protect you as a lawyer does.
Okay. So that's a great example. Okay. So obviously, knowing that there's a high degree of inaccuracy with AI for legal stuff, how can we protect ourselves? Do you have some specific tips or thoughts that you can share so that, at the end of this session, our hope, and I know you share this, is that our audience feels more empowered?
Totally. Yes. Okay. So the way that I want you to feel more empowered, first of all, the way that we empower ourselves is we have accurate information, first of all, right? We're all working from the same set of facts and recognizing what's true and not true, which in today's world is not always so easy to do. So one of the gifts that I like to give you is to be really clear, because clarity will always help you. You can make whatever choices you wish to take. This is just information for you that Leslie and I are sharing. But when you know actually what you're dealing with, then you are empowered. Because if you know, oh, I remember that live that Leslie and Lisa did, where Lisa said that AI is 60 to 80% inaccurate when it comes to legal stuff, and that 10% of licensed medical practitioners ignored their own judgment when they knew AI was wrong, I better stop and actually look at what ChatGPT is giving me. So when ChatGPT gives you information, stop and look at it. Use your own brain to think about it. Don't just copy and paste, okay? What you want to do is, if it's for something in your area of expertise, make sure that you edit it before you use it somewhere. Don't just copy and paste. That's one of my biggest AI tips I give all the time. But if it's legal, please have a lawyer look at it. Just like I am not a registered dietitian, I am not a doctor, I am not a nurse, I am not a chiropractor, I am not all the things. So even though I'm a health coach and I've worked with functional medicine practitioners for 13 years and I know a lot about functional medicine, I still should not be looking at my own lab tests and drawing medical conclusions from my own lab tests. I have some more knowledge than the average person, but I'm still going to go to a professional like my nurse practitioner or registered dietitian to actually look at this for me and help me understand what it says. So that's what I want for you. You're a smart person, you're a bright person, you're very capable, you know a little about the law probably, but you won't be replacing a lawyer, just like I won't be replacing a licensed medical practitioner. That's the part that's most important, because we can just get comfortable with AI and let AI do the heavy lifting. And then we don't realize that it's leaving out parts of contracts. It's creating a flimsy disclaimer. It's not including information specifically for your profession. And you think it's good. And then you get yourself even energetically into a hot mess, but also you could harm yourself or your license too. And we don't want that for you.
Oh, so good. Oh, so it's a lot, right? So look at,
but always information is empowering. Always information is empowering.
So basically get a lawyer on board is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sure. Just like in medicine, you get a medical expert on board. Just like in dietetics, you get a dietitian on board. This is no different. None of the things that we can use for AI can replace the human analysis and judgment of someone who's been doing this work for 30 years. Like I've been a lawyer for 30 years.
Wow.
AI is not. And also you all, the other thing to remember, and this is true for your own work, right? AI is really pulling everything off the internet and putting it in AI.
Okay.
So we know that there's a lot of things on the internet that are great and fabulous and true and correct. And there's a lot of stuff on the internet that is not great and true and fabulous or correct. So if you're pulling everything into the answer, you know that some of it's got to be wrong. And so always go back and check a source, check a statute, and then also have a lawyer help you, just like a medical practitioner help you.
Okay. That's huge.
Yeah.
So do you think then that, well, first of all, I think one of the challenges, just based on what I've observed, is there is a lot of variance, shall we say, in terms of knowledge within the law profession. On like, things like licensure and things like that. It's really interesting because I've heard a lot where, people like, there's a lot of, it seems like there's some confusion about that sort of thing.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, Leslie, because what I have found is that there are a lot of lawyers who might be healthcare attorneys in a big law firm like I was, who are not a health coach or an online entrepreneur themselves, but they think that they know what this is. And then there are also a lot of business lawyers that think that they know healthcare law. There are trademark lawyers that have given my clients wrong advice because they know trademark law, but they don't know healthcare law. So they don't know licensure law. They don't know state lines. So what's happening is you have lawyers who think this is really easy to come into the online space and say, oh, sure, it's okay to do that. Just use a disclaimer. But like AI, that's because they probably got it from AI. They don't know that that's not accurate or true or correct. So it's always up to each person to decide how much level of risk they wish to take. I'm someone that comes from a place of wanting to protect you, to keep you safe, to protect your license. Lawyers are ethically not allowed to tell you anything that we know could be risky for you. So I'm never going to do that. If you choose to take a risk, go, you can do whatever you want, but I will never tell you to do something that I know is legally risky for you. It's unethical. It's malpractice. It's not what lawyers are supposed to do. Yeah.
Well, I'll just say my takeaway is not only consult an attorney or a lawyer, but someone who has a great deal of expertise in the specific area in which you're seeking counsel.
Good point.
Right?
Yes, because, exactly.
Just like, medicine, right? Like you're going to go to a cardiologist.
Exactly.
If you need help improving your heart health, right? You're just, like you're going to go to someone that specializes. So,
and lawyers are great at the areas they do. If they're a business lawyer or a trademark lawyer, or they're an employment lawyer, or they're a family lawyer, they're great, but they may not know this area of the law. And that's a great segue, because one of the mistakes that comes up from AI is that people think that AI knows their actual expertise, and AI often lumps everyone together in one bucket for
Yeah.
the sake of relatability, making it easy for people. So what we want to do is just make sure that you're very clear about who you are when you ask a question to AI, but also double check the answer with the lawyer who knows what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Super important.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about then, legal documents specifically.
Sure.
Okay. So we'll hone in and get more specific around that topic. Because so often I see, well, lots of things. Of course, it seems like it'd be really easy to go to AI for that
Oh,
purpose,
sure.
right? Like,
Yeah.
or like just kind of, shall we say, lift such
Yeah.
things, to
Sure.
put on your website from another
Yeah.
website,
Yeah,
like
sure.
reword it a little. So I guess really what I'm trying to get to is what do we do if we've already created legal documents using AI
Yeah.
or, just in general?
Or
What do
copied
you
someone else or grabbed it from over here. It's
exactly.
very normal and tempting to do that, especially at the start, Leslie, when people's resources feel limited. They're just starting out. They're like, oh, I'm not going to get in trouble. This is
Right.
fine for now. Like at the very, very, very beginning, for like the first 6 months, we understand why people do that. But here's the thing. As you grow in your business, you have greater risk because you have more clients, more exposure. You have more income to lose. As you grow, you really do need to pause and have a lawyer review your documents, okay? Because what we want for you is to make sure there are no gaps or no holes, that they're not leaving out important areas. Because one of the things that some of the clients have come to me and said, whether they've copied someone else's document or they've used AI, is they're like, oh, this is good enough. Like, isn't good enough? Like, I mean, this is just good. This is good enough. I'm good. I'm good. And I'm like, well, once again, like, did you go to contracts law class for 5 hours a week for a semester? I don't know, but I'm just saying, I don't know that the person who created those documents you copied, their lawyer, did they get them from a lawyer? Did they do them themselves? Did they copy from someone else? So what happens is you have gaps and holes that you just can't see.
Mhm.
Again, I love to make the analogy to the human body because it's like when your clients come to you and they're like, oh, I think this is what's going on with my gut. I mean, I'm just pretty sure because, I've done a lot of reading and researching online and I asked AI and AI told me that this is really what's going on. So how can you help me? Can you just give me what I need so that I can take care of this problem? And you as the practitioner, like, time out. We need to do an intake form. We need to have a conversation. I need to know what meds you're taking and supplements you're taking. What are you eating? What is your stress? How's your sleep? Are you exercising? And then maybe I can give you a protocol or recommendations or supplements or lab tests or whatever, right? So like the person thinks they know because they're a smart person and they've done research. But when you see them, you're like, wait a minute, we got to back up the truck and like, actually look at what's going on here. So the same is true for law. The same is true for law. You can think you kind of have it. You can think you know, but you really need to make sure you have the legal expert actually looking at it to create your protocol for you. That's the best analogy I can give. And it all makes sense, right? I mean, it makes perfect sense.
Okay. So basically then I think what you're saying is if someone has already created their legal documents, maybe using AI, maybe kind of, wherever they got them. There's a lot of options. Basically have a lawyer review them.
Absolutely.
100%. Okay.
You can't assume because AI is leaving important things out of contracts and it's simplifying things and it's trying to make it easy for you to understand. And so you definitely want to have a lawyer to review that. That's the best and safest thing you can do.
So any tips on how they can find those blind spots?
Ooh, well, okay. We've come up with a couple already, right? So number one, be as specific about who you are when you put your query into AI. And when you get the answer back, first of all, stop and use your brain to be like, do I think this is accurate? And if you're like, well, I think it's accurate, but I don't know, then still take it to a lawyer to have them review it. Okay. Number two.
If you're not a lawyer, you probably need to go to a lawyer.
Right. I mean,
even if because how would I possibly know?
Well, it's like, if you're not a doctor, why would you pretend to be a doctor? Like, and everyone's intentions are good. It's like, we're all smart, bright people, capable people. We're great researchers. We're like, we can figure this out. I can figure this out. I'm a smart person. I can figure this out. It's not that you're not smart. It's not that you can't. It's just that you don't have the training, right? Just But when you are asking questions, be as specific as you can about who you are to get an answer back. Because, for example, even yesterday, someone just asked me this question where they were like, hey, I'm a health coach and I want to hire a licensed registered dietitian to be in my practice as a health coach. And I was like, whoa, time out. In many states, that's totally not legal. And also, if you're a licensed medical practitioner, you need to be in a medical setting where you're working with HIPAA and you're in a medical context. So you really can't be part of someone else's unlicensed practice unless it's arranged in a certain way and in certain states. Okay. So like if AI says, sure, go ahead and do that, you think that's correct. But if you're in a particular state where that's not correct, now you're doing something that's not legal and you just didn't know. So please be really specific about your query, but then also have a lawyer check to make sure it's accurate.
Okay. And maybe one that specializes in this area. I'll just add that.
You say that, Leslie, but yes. And like you said beautifully, if you have a heart problem, you go to a cardiologist, you don't go to an orthopedic surgeon, right? If we have a dental problem, we don't go to a speech pathologist, we go to a dentist, right? I mean, I'm being facetious, but we get it. There's a reason why we all get it. Yeah. But I think the important thing is to be aware, to be knowledgeable, to recognize that AI is not always correct. It can be helpful as a tool. It can help you know what questions to ask a lawyer, but please just don't rely on it as truth, especially when right now one study says 60% incorrect for law. I saw another study that said it's 80% incorrect for law.
Wow.
So
that is really bad. Honestly, I knew it was bad. I knew you were going to say it was bad.
It's really bad.
But that is way worse than what I would.
And we think it's not. We think it's not. We think it's good. I know.
Yeah. So bad. Okay. A little off the cuff, but can you maybe talk a little bit about how you help people in the work that you do? Just because you're so helpful. I know I will preface this part of the conversation by saying Lisa's been incredibly helpful for me and my business. And I personally have all of her contracts that she has so beautifully written, the templates, and I think they're awesome. And I will share my affiliate link to everyone in case you would like to check those out. I mean, and I will just say they made my life so much easier,
Leslie, that's sweet.
And gave me peace of mind, because I do think a lot of this, and I know you talk a ton about this in your work and your writing about, just having that feeling of safety when it comes to the law, right? And being empowered instead of like, oh my God, I'm paralyzed with fear. So I know you tell us a little bit about, how you help.
Sure.
Maybe how folks can move forward if they wish to learn more.
Well, first of all, Leslie, thank you so much for those sweet comments. And did you all notice that Leslie did not say, I got my legal documents from AI? Right? So no, but no, I appreciate that. I do love helping people know what they can and can't do when it comes to running your business and help you feel safe. Because as Leslie said, when you feel safe and you feel secure, you do feel courageous and empowered to go out and share your programs with the world and write books and have podcasts and do videos and do all the things, because people need to hear what you have to say. They need your help. And that's why Leslie's such a great person to learn from. She's an expert, as you all know. She's amazing. And she helps you build and create your practice. And so what I do is help you protect and honor your practice so that you can have the right corporate entity. You can trademark your brands. You can use over 50 do-it-yourself legal templates that I have for different aspects of your business. And you can fill them out and download them and have them done in like 15 minutes so that you can use them on your website and for your clients and your overnight retreats and like all the things that you're doing, lunch and learns, all the things. So I really do have ready-made templates for you to use, designed for licensed practitioners and health coaches, because I am one and I understand what you need in those documents, as well as, all sorts of contracts, disclaimers, trademarks, limited liability companies, etc. So whatever work you need to help move your business forward, I can help you with that on the legal front. And if I can't for some reason, I will make sure to be able to refer you to someone who can.
I love that. Yeah. And everyone, just so you know, I did share, and this is my affiliate link.
Great.
I shared that. Hopefully that did come through. I put in there a bit.ly link. So it's bit.ly/legal love, which I was so excited that suffix was available. It's so perfect.
So listen, you all, if you do need to upgrade your client agreement or your website documents or your agreement for hiring your virtual assistant, or you're doing a hybrid program or an online program or a self-study program, these templates that you can get through Leslie's link are actually already ready to go for you. If you have any questions, you can feel free to reach out to our team and we'll make sure you're getting the right document, but we'll also make sure you just let us know that you came from Leslie and we'll make sure that we'll connect you to Leslie as the affiliate. So thank you for that.
And then I'll put this.
Oh yeah, perfect. That's awesome.
Yeah. So just go to bit.ly/legal love. And Lisa has a whole bunch of different templates, you know, everything. I mean, really everything.
I know 50. We have 50 now.
Oh my God, that's a lot. That's so cool. And I get questions like this a lot, and I'm not a lawyer, right? So I go to the source for my own documentation, my own legal documents. And that would include, I just want to put a little plug, testimonials.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a testimonial release that you can use if you're getting testimonials from your clients.
I think that one's super. I mean, they're all important. You're
right. Because here's a quick example, you all. I had a client come to me who's a coach, and she had a client who said that she could use a testimonial in her Facebook group, but my client, the coach, kind of forgot and put it out on her website, and the client went berserk. The client was bonkers. She was so upset and said, "You're like violating my privacy." But if my client had used the testimonial release, she would have been able to let the client know where she was going to use it and all the things. So that, you know, these things matter. We think that, you know, who's going to be upset about a testimonial that you say you can use on Facebook and now use it on your website? It's all public information. But for some reason, this client was like really upset about it going out into the whole world on Facebook and on the website. And who would have ever thought that would be an issue? It protect you and give you peace.
It's super, super important. I just call that one out because, you know,
there's an example.
Like we have to protect our patients and our clients' privacy. Yeah. So that one is in this group of 50. And I think that one, and they're all super valuable, but that's one that comes to my mind. Right out of the gate. As we kind of start to wrap up our conversation today, Lisa, any, you know, final words of wisdom that you'd like to share with everybody? I know there's so much and so much more.
I know. Well,
here's the thing. Talk about.
I know. And Leslie, you're so amazing. We can talk for hours. Here's the thing, you all. We all, like Leslie and I both know what it's like to be newer building your business or to be midway through your business. And it feels vulnerable and it feels scary and it feels overwhelming and it feels like, can I really do this? And is anyone going to really want this? And like, it's very easy to live in that space. But one of the things why I love Leslie uses the word empowerment so much, which is also a word I use in my business, is because when you have information and knowledge, like I said before, it does empower you. And also, like, the world needs you more than ever. If you look around at the health of people in the world, as you all know, the world needs you. So when you take legal steps, it actually helps your nervous system relax. It helps you feel safe. It helps you say, oh, my legal document has my back. I don't have to worry about this. I'm safe. I'm secure because my client and I are on the same page. It relaxes you. So you feel more safe to go out and share your message, which is what we need. So I think that's the parting thought, Leslie, is to realize legal documents and lawyers, we're not here to be negative and nasty and scare you. We're here to help you feel empowered and knowledgeable and safe so that you can go forward and do what you want to do and build the life and the business that you want to have for yourself and your family.
I love that. Yeah. And just to feel like, okay, I've got my bases covered. I don't have to worry. I love
That's right. That. And we try to do it over here in our business with love. That's why we call it Legal Love. So
I love that. So great. So unusual, I might add. I know.
I'm not your typical lawyer, that's for sure. But you know, I'm a Gemini. I was a cheerleader in high school and I'm a lawyer. But you can be all these things. See, you can do this too.
Yeah.
We're allowed to bring all of ourselves to our business. So I would also leave you with that as well.
Well, Lisa, I want to thank you so very much for being here. And I always, every conversation, I walk away feeling a little, maybe smarter, more grounded when you break things down for us. So I really appreciate that. And I know our audience does as well. And for everyone watching, I hope you are walking away with more of a sense of clarity, more confidence, and just a dose of, shall we say, healthy respect for the law when it comes to, using tools such as AI in your business, right? So happy about that. Check out bit.ly/legal love. Again, that's an affiliate link. So you can check out all of Lisa's templates. And in all honesty, she's got so much great information. If you want to just go straight to her website, it's lisafraley.com. So you can check her out there. And just a quick reminder, if you want to head on over to my YouTube channel, trying to grow that. So I'm over at Leslie Bytel International. And if you would be so kind as to hit that subscribe button and reminder bell so you don't miss any future lives. We have a lot of really cool stuff in the works for you. So I'd be ever so grateful. And until next time, right? Stay protected and stay safe, right?
Thank you, Leslie.
All right. Thank you so very much, everybody. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
All right.